All right, boys. So we have Wine and his friend Japa has this Princess Maker Gunlancer build. Instead of me researching it up, I asked Wine Blue if he can spend some time and share his presentation before he makes his video. Damn, man, a PT and everything, bro.
Of course.
Wow.
So I call it the Princess Maker because that's what I make my DPSs feel. Make them feel like royalty. This is a build that pretty much allows you to cheese through the latest end content, probably also going into the future. So if you like that cheese, this is probably where you want to be. First of all, why do you want to play Princess Maker Gunlancer? So if you look at raids up till Brel, it's all about damage. It's less about that utility. But start from kind of from Kangol, not really, but especially in Akan and Voldeck, you can see that trend. The more stagger destruction encounter you can bring, the faster and more consistent you can clear a raid, even faster. The second part I want to mention is the fun aspect. So, Princess Maker Gunasser is some of the most fun I've had playing Lostark. It's kind of because it's definitely an off meta build, and there's a lot of fun when you make an off meta build work. The insane skill expression you have. So, the better and more knowledgeable you are as a player, there's a lot of skill expression you can show off in raids, and that adds to the fun. This is really a build for support enjoyers. So people
Like you.
who, yeah, like me, who enjoy support, play a different style of supporting. This really goes down the alley for those people. You do feel like the leader of the party because you create all these opportunities for your DPSs to do damage. How does Princess Maker Gun Answer work? Well, in raids, what it does is it simulates a Trixian environment for your DPSs by creating a lot of damage windows and then also increase the damage of your 2 DPS to the point where it makes up for the damage that you lose. The total of the utility that you provide to your team, shields DR, stagger destruction counter, if that amount is bigger
Then the
than the
damage
damage
lost.
that you yourself lose by going on a non-damage build. So in order to accomplish this, you need to meet a few conditions. First of all, you need strong and or experienced DPSs. I'd say or because as long as your DPSs are experienced, even if they are on eye level, in the newest content it works very well. Like Gate 1 Econ and all of Vodag except Gates 2. And then of course in Guardians it works wonders.
Yep. And I'm pretty
And
sure
then
Thema in Gate 1 2 is tauntable as well.
yeah, it's probably tauntable, right? In Guardians, it's very meaningful because you can get the cumulative stagger checks pretty often. Place like Kangol, where the stagger does not mean too much. And then the fourth condition is you have to be good. The Gunlancer has to be very knowledgeable, probably the most knowledgeable party mate. Because you don't bring damage yourself, you have to create opportunities. A lot of it relies on your skill and your creativity. You actually have to create windows where they were not apparent, would have not been apparent. So this is not a build for like newer players or like proc parties. Also, you need to know when and where you should use some of your skills, and that would be kind of hard on proc parties. But I don't know, you can figure it out as long as you're a good player along the way. Assuming so, it would be decent going into Daymine, I think, especially because all the utility that you bring will be definitely beneficial to your team. I did some maths.
Damn! Where's that chart on the right, bro?
This is just to show that I did the maths. Kind of the messed up part about stagger in this game is that everything is multiplicative.
Oh shit.
So you take your base skill and apply the tripods, right? And then overwhelm is a like 20-30% increase. Head attack is 10% increase. Vital point hit is 36%. Expertise on 600 expertise is 24%. And then you have that Drike option on bracelet that increase your expertise. You have elixir options that increase expertise. You have synergies that also do that on artillerist and I think scrapper. And then there are also raid mechanics like in a Gate 3 where you kill the attendees, you get more stagger. So all this is multiplicative, taking into account these factors at the top because the bottom side is situational, and then accounting for cooldown. So in my build, you have something between 55 to 66% cooldown reduction. Assuming that you can maintain balance 100% and you use your main stagger skills, there are 4 of them, every time they're off cooldown. So this is like completely impossible, but just to do like a theoretical experiment.
ceilings.
And the total is more than 20,000 stagger points per minute.
Damn.
And that does not take into account the resets on Fire Bullet. So if you do that math divided by whirlwind bombs, that's 248 whirlwind bombs per minute, at least 4 whirlwind bombs per second. So more realistically, I'd say you can take 25% of that. So roughly you can fit in like at least 1 whirlwind bomb per second. And that's how much stagger this build brings to a raid. And then in terms of utility, so apart from stagger, and this is what distinguishes the Princess Maker build from generic stagger bot builds, and that's why I felt the need to call it something different. So in terms of damage increase, you have your synergy. That's the same for all Gunlancers, minus 12% defense, and that's roughly a 6% damage increase, applied 100%. You have Shout of Hatred, the taunt. Synergy on that is 4% or 9% depending on entropy. And on this build, you can apply that 100% of the time. And then you have a plant set, 1.5%. Drops of Ether is roughly a 2 to 3% damage increase. There's this thing. So whenever you manage to put the boss on groggy state, your DPSs can actually make use of their 70 domination stat, which leads to a 5% increase during groggy state. And then there's bracelet and elixir choices, but this is more situational. But you can use things like cheer, expose weakness, dagger, and Jingun elixir set to increase the damage done by your DPSs. And then the bottom stuff is Crushing Fist, this kind of a meme engraving. It's 8% damage increase every time you counter for 3 seconds, but this is kind of like a meme build, meme engraving.
Man, that should be like a minute, dude.
3 seconds, like you can't make use of that. You
Yeah, I
barely
wish
fit in
that
one
second
skill.
was longer.
And then Explosives Expert for that's very situational for long raids. For progging, it kind of makes sense, I guess. But yeah, you can add 1 minute of dark bombs, so that's roughly 1 minute, 10% increase to your entire raid group, if you make that choice. And then in terms of protection, you can use Awakening every minute and Battlefield Shield twice every minute. And so your DPS can benefit from the DR, status immunity, push immunity on that. On this build, you roughly have like something between 11 seconds to 14 seconds cooldown on Nella. So you can roughly apply Nella 5 times per minute. And it lasts for 6 seconds, the shield and the DR. 50% coverage on shield and DR. And you can also change the tripod to have longer duration. So you can actually provide 100% uptime on DR. Now this is where it gets interesting. So base number is 5 seconds, but then there's a tripod option that increases the taunt duration by 3 seconds, so it's 8. But I put down the number 10 here because expertise actually increases the duration of the taunt aggro. I recently came to my knowledge. So on 600 expertise, it's 25% increased duration on taunt. So it's at least 10 seconds. And then you can also cancel a dangerous pattern whenever you taunt.
Right.
If you're really good, of course. I mean, taking into account the internal cooldown on the taunt, say you can roughly taunt once every 40 seconds. So that would mean you can taunt 1.5 times per minute. Roughly 15 seconds of uptime for your DPSs per minute. Of course, this is not realistic, but trying to look at like the ceiling value of it.
Yeah.
In this build, you can use Awakening every minute. So that's 10 seconds of DR plus push immunity and status immunity. And the Battlefield Shield takes damage in your DPS's stead, and you can use it twice per minute because it's on roughly a 25-second, 30-second cooldown. Of course, it's conditional on that you have Gauge. Talking about ceiling values, you can use it twice per minute, so it's 10 seconds of extra uptime for your DPSs. On Gargadis, I find that I can roughly stagger Gargadis every minute. And whenever the boss enters groggy state, 5 seconds of damage uptime again. Also, they can also profit from the domination stat during this. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's miscellaneous damage window provisions, such as the shields that you provide through Nulla and the DR. And then every time you counter, that's like a 3 second damage window. And then the aggro control, because you're always at the head, so your entropy DPSs get
I'm
more
gonna be very
time to do
happy.
damage. Like if you add this up, it's 15 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5, just looking at this. And then there's other utilities, of course. The cleanse on Nella, if you bring that, you can use it 5 times per minute. Very good when you're going into a con gate 1. Fire bullet, infinite numbers of destruction.
That always
But then,
reset all the time.
yeah, 75% chance to reset. And then even if it fails, you have a surge cannon, shield, bash, and dash upper fire for backup. So you have very high uptime on destruction. So, how do you build it?
Nice. So clean.
Clean. Let's talk about this. So 4 Nightmare, 2 Dominion for maximum cooldown reduction, and then infinite mana. In terms of stats, I tend to go full Swift and Expertise. Now, Japa, who gave me the inspiration for this build, goes half and half. I would say anything between Swiftness and Expertise is fine. So if you go more Expertise, you sacrifice some of your cooldown, but you can do more Burst Stagger. So maybe it's a decent trade-off. I like to go full Swift, though. And this is the nice part about this build. Those accessories tend to be very cheap. I don't know about the West, but in Korea, like getting swiftness accessories, super cheap. But the tricky part about this is you need to find a necklace that has swiftness expertise. But
Yeah.
maybe you're in luck, because if you jump to engravings, like this is what you need to make this possible, make this build possible. Maybe you add drops of ether here. So basically, times 3 plus 1 is enough. So you can definitely find a swiftness expertise necklace, even if it doesn't have the engravings of your choice, and perhaps come up with a functional build. Awakening 3 is the most important component of this build. Vital point hit, very important, at 36%. Stagger, combat readiness to increase the effectiveness of your shield in case you have to use it for yourself. And then the rest is kind of like, it depends on the situation, and they're not really good choices. But if you want to fill up a 5 times 3 plus 1, here are the options. You can go expert to increase Nella efficiency. Crushing Fist, kind of a meme thing. Maybe sometimes it works. Maybe that Surge Blade can fit in that one surge and get 8% more damage off that. Heavy armor, very good when you're in a con, gate 3, when you're doing janitor work. Specifically for that. Also, it kind of works because sometimes you want to use battlefield shield on your allies. HA makes it fail-proof. You don't die even if you try to tank too much damage. Spirit Absorption in case you have a bit more expertise than swiftness and you want to keep being at full attack speed. And Explosive Expert works on long raids. And then for bracelet options, you kind of try to fish for swiftness, expertise, and then all the support options: wedge, expose, weakness, and cheer. And then strike. I'm not sure if it's called strike, but there's this one option that increases your
That gives
stagger.
you a stagger, yeah.
Very nice for this build. And then for elixir options, you definitely try to go for that dagger option. And then if you can get Jingun, because of the insane uptime on your Nella, your party can benefit from Jingun, and then your support can switch off to something like Songgakja or Shinyam to make the damage on your DPS even more juicier. And then for cards, you have a plant set for that 1.5% damage increase. It stacks with Cliffs and Master Spears. Talking about skills, this is what I use. I've been switching it a lot. This is my current rendition of it. Rising Spear over here, second line. You can switch it off to the Fire tripod when you're going to Voldag Gate 1. You don't have to bring Firebomb. Generally, though, that Lightning tripod has a stun, so when you need a stun, it's kind of effective to free up those MC'd people. Cleanse is kind of default. You can go for the increased DR, so that goes up to 56% DR, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also go for the increased duration tripod, which is the one that allows 100% uptime on 25% DR. And on the third line, if you don't, and then for taunt, if it's not a tauntable boss, you would want to switch that duration tripods to the shield one. Overwhelm runes on the left side skills. These are the ones that act as my main stagger skills. So synergy on the bash, fire bullet, you can reset it to generate infinite stagger and destruction. I've chosen these skills because they are on a very short cooldown, which allows you to enter boundless mana very easily. The skills and tripod choices to make it so that each skill has a very short frame of action. For Staggerbot, Rising Spear definitely works because Akan and Gate Force is so big, you can definitely fit in all 5 waves that emanate from Rising Spear. And Dash Upper Fire for counter, I just put in Gale Wind on Dash Upper Fire and Surge Cannon. So Surge Cannon acts like a backup destruction and kind of works for stagger checks when you need that burst stagger, but really the bulk of your stagger lies on the left side. You see that wealth here, it doesn't do much. It probably increases, it allows you to gain like an extra 1%
Wait,
on
does
your
Whelp
full
actually work?
gauge.
Shout of Hatred though? I thought it doesn't.
So there's like an attack component on taunt beside the 20% you gain. But the 30% kind of makes that, I think it's like a 3% increase apart from the tripod. So you can make it like a 4%. It's like a 1%. It's because there's no good choice as runes over here.
Oh, it works on the damn.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like a pixel, bro.
So it's like nothing, but it's like the best option among everything else because there's no good option.
Why don't you put quick recharge?
It doesn't really do much because you're already at 55 66%
Right,
cooldown
cooldown.
reduction. So it's like whatever. You can put it in, but
You can put another rage, double rage.
you can go for rage.
What about that dash upper fire? You using the distance? Cause
Oh yeah,
it's not for
distance.
damage, right?
I tried it out. It's definitely way more distance if you go for that 1 meter tripod and the 20% increased.
All right, let's test this out. I don't have the
Love it.
build, but I have an entropy class, entropy shadow hunter. We're gonna experience this in action. That's it. This is the build. He has spirit absorption.
So you used awakening, and he taunted the moment you arrived, presenting you with the Asa.
Nice.
And then using combat readiness so that you don't have to move back or use spacebar.
Gargades.
Already
He's
staggered.
staggered already. This guy usually gets staggered at 3 minutes. And it's 1 minute 30, 1 minute 30 seconds. Ooh. I'm the one who countered. Whoops.
No, that's why we didn't get the crushing fist. That's the taunt ping.
Oh, he got staggered again.
Yep.
I never knew that you can get staggered twice.
His build is half and half.
So
a
more
bit
stagger?
burst stagger.
Since the NA boy is gonna fight Sonavel, we can try it there.
Oh, I didn't change cards.
Oh, it's
Whoa.
okay, it's okay.
I forgot this guy's dark.
Yeah. What the?
What the?
What? He got staggered already. This is
What?
based on stagger?
What?
I thought this was based on damage.
Well, that was a stagger check? I didn't even know.
I didn't even know this was a stagger check. What the?
Holy.
We learn new things.
Oh, this tree. That's why I don't miss this guy.
Damn.
You feel it? You feel it?
Damn.
The time would be much faster if we had another DPS, of course.
94%.
There's only you to profit from it.
Yeah. So it's 6 to 7%, yeah. So I think I'm gonna build it for sure. I gotta figure out what 3 other engravings I'm gonna get. But it feels like choosing utility engraving is the play, but just adding it just that little more damage doesn't seem that bad, doesn't it?
I think it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like if the damage were additive, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But since it's multipliers, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like the damage grows exponentially.
Okay, so that ends it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wine Blue. I got shed me some a little bit of shine, and then I kind of figure out what I'm probably gonna do on Thursday, or before Thursday. I'll probably like build stuff up. All right. Anything else to say? Lastly, Wine Blue.
Only Giga Chats can play this build.
No,
Okay.
I think it's because so the reason why I feel this way is like on a 4-man party, it's like harder, but on an 8-man, it's even better. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Like it gets better is this would be way better on an 8-man party than a 4-man party.
Right.
Yeah, so
Because
that's
missing
why
one DPS on an 8-man party
yeah,
isn't
it's like nothing.
like the others
Because
can definitely cover that.
yeah, because if you look into it, like if all 6 DPS players play around the same thing, it's like 16% damage, right, on the pie. If it's 16, they'll be doing 1 to 2%, which what the supports already do. So 1 to 2% of the pie is so easy to get covered by 5 different people. Then like let's say 20% of the pie can't be covered by 2 people. Theamine, that's like the thing. I'm trying to get this ready for Theamine group. And since Theamine is an 8-man raid, bringing this is actually a legitimate strategy.
Yep.
That you can actually try on a tauntable boss, because on a tauntable boss it's even better. But on
It's
a not
even
tauntable
better.
boss, or if he
It's
has a
still good
stagger
enough.
bar, yeah, tauntable boss
But
with a stagger bar, it's good. But if they don't have a stagger bar or anything, that would be like the least effective. But the most effective would be like a stagger bar plus a counterable boss, like the Guardian,
right.
because that frog was standing still for like the next 30 seconds, and if anyone can pull off an actual Trixian damage, that's the maximum potential that some players can get. Only Trixian damage, like let's say like the Force Bender War Dancer, right? That's like a
oh yeah.
Trixian
That's like a
style
Trixian
damage.
myth kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Trixian myth, like the Trixian myth builds can be possible, right? Because they do so much damage, but the boss moves so much, so it makes it impossible. But if you play with the Gunlancer that can actually hold the boss off, you can. It's an actual possibility that you can actually make that build happen. All right, man, go do rest of your raids.
Yeah.
I'll see you later, man. Say thanks to Wine Blue, sir.